Okay. Caitlin Wong and I, Alita Clausen, are sharing a strategy that we have sort of come to through a need that we express to each other. Um, we were finding that we both use Google Classroom, and whether you use Classroom or Brightspace, this could be a tool that you could use. We would post assignments, like a daily task for students to do. We're both math teachers, but this would also be applied to other subject areas. We would post a daily assignment, and then students who would fall behind would just have a slew of assignments that were missing. And it could be daunting and overwhelming, and we didn't know where to get them started necessarily or what the best place would be. And so we wanted like one location where we could have all student work. And we also wanted to be able to see what students were doing as we were working through our content. And we also wanted to have a place where we could streamline our instructions and a location for kids to find things. So one place just to do everything. And Caitlin knew of this extension or an add-on to Google Forms made by Alice Keeler called Push Slides. And so what we've developed is a strategy that we call learning logs, where we have a bank or a master slideshow where we create slides, which are tasks for students to do every day. And then we push those out to their slideshows, and they work on them as we proceed through the course. And Caitlin will share more about how we use them.
So some different ways that we have used our learning logs so far this semester is mostly for daily exit tickets or check-ins or mini assignments pushed to each of the students each day. From those assignments, students can work on them directly in the slideshows. We can see that work live. We can work on it with them in a one-on-one setting together. And once the students are finished their work, we can give feedback directly within the slides. So what's really nice is not only from a teacher point of view, being able to give that feedback to students in one place, but for students also to be able to see it in their normal document that they go to every day anyways. The slides can also be used really nicely for student self-assessment and self-evaluation and self-reflection, as well as for assessment as for and of learning, depending on the purpose of the task or of the assignment that we're posting. To show a bit of an exemplar, I can show mine first. So on the screen here is a portion of one of my students' daily slides or learning logs. The slide that I pushed to them on a particular day looked like this, that had some math content and questions on it. This student decided to write right in the space and also wrote a little bit on an extra slide. Within this, I have some self-assessment and communication. How do we feel about this task? And the students said they felt pretty good with the little emoji here. There's a place on the slide as well for them to self-assess how they feel they're doing. So are they emerging, beginning, developing, applying, or extending, which really could be modified to whatever you would like the student to self-assess based on. And then also give feedback directly in this. I've been using color-coded feedback, so green for good, yellow for almost there, and red for not quite. Let's look at this again. And I put that information or that feedback directly on the student's assignment in here, and give some written feedback as well. Within my setup as well, I have a built-in second attempt or more than 2 attempts for students to then take my feedback and apply that to show me their improved understanding. I think that covers all of mine. If Alita, you'd like to share your student exemplar.
Sure. So I use mine in a similar way to Caitlin's. And this is maybe a bigger version of the portfolio. So you can see I organize mine in a similar way. I have the day number so that students can navigate what day of the course we were on. I started with some more get to know you, kind of tell me how you solved a problem tasks. And then they moved into more diagnostic tasks where I was trying to gauge students' understanding of prior content. And then tasks where they were related to what we were doing that day. Now, this student in particular adds her own slides and takes pictures of what she worked on during the day that weren't asked about in the learning log, and then sort of inserts them as examples or reminders of what she can look back to as what we were doing that day. And I use similar ways to give feedback in terms of color coding, and then students are encouraged to revisit their work. So, for example, I noticed that when this student used algebra tiles to simplify and expand expressions, she was having trouble. So then I did sort of a mini lesson with just her and another student who I also noticed were struggling. And I inserted this slide and we did some examples together. And then she went back and redid the problem and then had way more success. So this learning log is a way that we can individualize what is happening for each student. Yes, we're disseminating the same slides to all students, but then I can insert slides as we talk about certain things so that they can go back and it's all in one place and they don't have to go find that video or find that link or find that picture that I sent them. It's just all in one place. I could also copy this slide and put it into the other student's learning log so that he had a reference to it as well. And this student continues to add her own slides to kind of make a mental note about what she learned that day. And then also we can see that like this student has not completed a task. So the next time she logs into this learning log, she can see that not only are the current day's slides ready for her to complete, but then she can also go to the next day's or the previous day's slides. And the way these work is that the new slides show up on top. So where we started with day 1, day 9 is now on the top. And then I also use these as kind of like a way to self-assess or self-evaluate based on some of the like softer skills or process expectations, depending on what we're looking at. Let me just make sure the other benefit of this learning log is that I can just share one link with parents to show how students are progressing. And I just make it viewable to anyone with the link. And then parents can see what their student or what their child has completed. They can see my feedback. It's all in one place. And I'm not sharing like a long list of assignments that are missing. It's just one thing. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to add. We will share this particular slide with people after this recording. And if you are interested in trying this out, Alice Keeler has a website where she explains how to set this up and a video as well with instructions. If you have questions about this, you can feel free to email Caitlin or myself. We will put our emails at the bottom here. And this was more to express how we find this tool really working well in this hybrid distance learning environment. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Alita, and thank you, Caitlin, for sharing such a wonderful tool and strategy. Do you have a classroom tool or strategy that you would like to share? Is there something that you're doing in your classroom that works really well? We would love for you to share that bite of learning with us. If you have something you're willing to share, you want to make a video, you want help making a video, connect with myself or Lisa Hicknell, and we'll get you started. Very excited to hear from others on their bites of learning.